The ACT claims that the math test measures your understanding of topics covered in typical high school classes. It sounds like a lot, right? But what all this hides is that what the test really measures is your ability to take the test. The good news is that this is the most coachable section of the exam, because although you may not have solved for X since you were 13 years old and maybe you forgot all the math rules you ever knew, the answers here are 100% provable. The ACT math test gives you 60 minutes to answer 60 questions. The breakdown of topics includes 24 pre-algebra and algebra questions, 18 intermediate algebra and coordinate geometry questions, 14 geometry questions, and 4 basic trig questions. ACT math questions also have 5 answer choices instead of 4. Let's look at a problem that we might see on the ACT. Pablum Pictures produces 5 mindless action flicks per year, and Stultifying Studios produces 12 mindless action flicks every 3 years. If the two companies sign a 5-year contract to work together and continue to produce these cinematic masterpieces at their respective rates, how many gems will be produced over the course of the contract? Wow, looks tough. There's a lot going on. Imagine that you're taking the test and you're starting to run out of time and you begin to panic a little bit. A question like this comes up. Well, what do you do? Well, if you're normal, you do what I do when my computer freezes. I start randomly hitting keys and hoping that something will make the thing start again. When we panic in math, we do something very similar, and we start relying on simple manipulations of numbers rather than actually doing the problem. You know that you're looking for how many they make together, and you see that Pablum makes 5 and Stultifying makes 12, and could it be? Yes! Answer A says 17. How lucky for us. No luck involved. That's a trap. Do you honestly think that a question as complicated as this would have an answer that takes 2 seconds to get? No. Eliminate A. Okay. So how about B? Well, Pablum makes 5 per year, so over 5 years that will be 25 movies. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't include Stultifying, so this is what's called a partial answer. Eliminate B. How about C? Do you see a way to get 36 using simple manipulations? No, so keep it. How about D? Do you see a way to get 45? No, so keep it. How about E? No again, that's okay, let's keep it. So now we have a 1 in 3 chance if we guess. This is a great example of how we can improve our odds if we eliminate trap answers, and thereby increase our accuracy. So one of the key techniques you need to know about the ACT is that they can make simple things seem more complicated by layering in lots of little steps. What we need to do then is to break the question apart into bite-sized pieces and work them one step at a time. So what we're going to do now is look at the basic math that we'll need in order to answer this question, and then walk through it step by step. So let's start by taking a look at how we deal with rates. The basic formula for rates is that rate times time equals distance or amount of work. And again, when 2 people are working together, you add those rates together. So let's go back and take a look at this problem one more time. If Pablum Pictures produces 5 movies per year, we know that Stultifying Studios produces 12 movies every 3 years, we know that Stultifying produces 4 movies each year. So, with Pablum doing 5 and Stultifying doing 4, together they'll get 9 movies made every year. 9 movies a year for 5 years is going to be 45 movies. So the answer is D. Okay, like I said, that wasn't so bad. It looked worse than it actually was. I mean, all we had to do was break it down into bite-sized pieces, take careful notes, and remember some basic math concepts. So, we've seen how the ACT can ask simple things in a really confusing way. Let's take a look at another tool that we have to improve our accuracy.
Vroom vroom. Okay, time for a pop quiz. How far is New York City from Los Angeles? Would you believe me if I said 25 miles? No? All right, what about 100,000 miles? Okay, that's too big, obviously. But you know that the answer is between 25 miles and 100,000 miles. Well, this is exactly the power of ballparking. So even if you don't know what the correct answer is, if you know the range in which the answer must fall in, you can still get the correct answer. So what am I talking about? Let's look at an example. On line L, the length of BC is 1.5 times the length of AB. If the length of AC is 30, then what is the length of BC? Well, what is it that we know on this problem? Well, first of all, we know that the figure is drawn to scale. How do we know this? Well, there's no note at the bottom saying that the figure is not drawn to scale. Also, we know that the line of AC is equal to 30. Cut this line exactly in half and you get two pieces, 15 and 15. Now, does AB and BC equal one another? Are they cut exactly in half? No. It says that BC is 1.5 times AB, meaning that BC is longer than AB. So the answer for BC, the length of BC, must be longer than 15. We can get rid of any answers that are not bigger than 15. So we can get rid of F, G, H, and J. This only leaves K. Now I know you're anxious to see the math way to do this problem. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, I know you want to know the math way to do it. Well, we know that AB plus BC is equal to 30. We also know that BC is 1.5 times AB. This means that we can substitute 1.5 times AB for BC in the original equation and get AB plus 1.5 AB equals 30. This now gives us 2.5 times AB is equal to 30. When you divide both sides by 2.5 to solve for AB, you get that AB equals 12. Are we done yet? No, of course not. The question asked for BC, not AB. So get rid of answer choice H. Subtract 12 from 30 to find that the length of BC is 18. The answer is K. I know we could have probably done this math problem on our own, but using ballparking helps us to avoid picking partial answers, such as picking H instead of K. Now, ballparking may not help you avoid all the wrong answers all of the time, but it will help you improve your accuracy. All right, so let's recap what we've learned about the ACT math. The answer choices are full of partial answers and numbers that are too big or too small to be right. So make sure to POV those answers that are just too easy and use ballparking to eliminate answer choices that fall outside of the possible range. Now, a lot of questions are testing you on easy concepts, but in a confusing way. So break down long questions into bite-sized pieces and make sure to write out your work so you get the math out of your head and onto paper. Finally, study those math concepts that are going to be tested on the math test so you don't get confused. We have a lot of powerful tools that you can use to improve your accuracy and your score on the ACT math. So make sure to practice them so that you can use them on the test.